Okay, I think we can start. Good evening. My name is Eva Krejčířová and I work in Java client organization in Oracle, and I am part of the team which is responsible for the SyncGraph implementation in JavaFX. And today I'd like to talk to you about how event system in JavaFX works. So first I'll try to talk a little bit about the classes which are used in event system. Then I will talk about how the events are delivered and how you can handle them. And in the end I will also mention some specifics about keyboard mouse events and about Multitouch, which is new in JavaFX 2.2. Okay. So the most important class in the event system is class which is called event. It actually represents something which happens in the system, like mostly it's some user action like mouse click or key press, or when you close the window. The event is a base class for all these events. It has some common properties like type, source and target, and then the special objects they have, like key event, they have their own properties like coordinates for mouse event and key code for key event. Another important class which you need to know is event handler. This is actually an interface, and you as a programmer in JavaFX implement its handle method, and there you put what you want to do when some events happens. You can also consume the event in this handle method. This means that the event propagation will stop. The event actually travels through the SyncGraph when it's fired, so you will stop this from happening. Then there is event source and event target. Event source is the object on which the handle method was called from the event handler, and event target is the object which is the destination of the event. This is like the node which is under cursor, or focus node for key events, and so on. And then each event has also event type, which further specifies what kind of event is this. Like for mouse events, it tells whether you pressed or clicked or moved the mouse, or for key events whether you pressed the key button or whether you release it. Okay, so here this picture shows how the event hierarchy looks like. This is only a subset of the event hierarchy. There are much more events in the system, but these are the important ones. So you see that the event object is the base object for all events in JavaFX. Then we have input event and key events, announcements, and so on. Okay, so how are the events delivered? This process actually has 4 steps. First, the node to which the event is should be delivered is selected. This depends on the type of the event. Like as I said before, for mouse events, this is the node which is under the mouse cursor, and for key event, it's the focus node. Then the event route is constructed. The event basically travels from stage to the target node, and then it bubbles back. So from this target node, we create the route up to the stage. And then there are 2 phases. First one is event capturing phase, when the event travels from the stage to the target node. And then there is event bubbling phase, when the event travels back to the stage. So I have here a little demo to show you this. Okay, so here on the right side is a simple scene with rectangle and circle and triangle in a panel. And when I click here, it changes the color. And here on the left side, you can see the scene graph of this simple scene. And when I click here, I can then replay how the event travels through the system. So first, I just click on the rectangle, and I see, and on the right side, you can also see which is the current phase and what kind of event is currently handled. So I clicked on the rectangle was selected as the target, and then the route to the stage was constructed, and now the event starts traveling through the scene graph. So first it's on the stage, then scene, route node, rectangle. This was event capturing phase, and now it travels back from rectangle to route node to scene to stage. Okay, this was we actually didn't handle any event now, so I can select some handler here, and you will see when the handler is called. I can handle, for example, mouse clicking on rectangle and or stage. So, or maybe this will be here on a circle, it will be easier, and here on panel. So I click on the circle, and now the circle is selected as a target. Again, the route is constructed, and now the event travels. Okay, stage, scene, route, panel, circle. This was capturing phase, and then back in bubbling phase. So first the handler for the circle is called. On the right side, you can see that the event is being handled, and the event source is target, and event source is circle, and the event target is also circle. And here on panel, when the event is handled, you will see that the event source changed to panel, and the event target stays the same. And again, on stage, the event source is stage, the event target is circle. So another thing what I can do is add some filter. Here I add filter, for example, on root node, and you will see that the filters are called during event capturing phase. So now the filter will be called, and now again the handler. I can also consume the event, and when I do it here in the root node, I see the color doesn't change now because I stopped the event from propagated, so it actually never gets to the circle. So see, the circle was again selected as a target, the event starts traveling, but here the filter consumes it and the event delivery stops. So that was this. Okay, so here's some summary of the important stuff what I just showed you. Well, the most important one is that filters are called during event capturing phase, and handlers are called during event bubbling phase. This actually means that the filters are always called before handlers. And another important stuff is that target doesn't change, it's always the node which was selected at the beginning, but the source changes as the event passes the scene.
Can you consume an event during the bubbling phase?
Yes, you can. Okay, so now a little bit about event types. So the event further specifies what the event type further specifies what kind of event it is. So what I mean is you have mouse events, and then you have mouse pressed, mouse released, mouse moved event types. You can use them when you register your event handler or event filter, and they also form an hierarchy. Here is a picture which shows how the hierarchy looks like. So there is some root event type which is called event any or event root, that's the same. and then it has some subclasses, input event, any action event, and so on. And then from input event any, the subclasses are key event any, and then key event key press and so on. So you can actually, this means that you can actually register your handle for all key events, or for all input events, or for events. Okay. So event handling.
Do you have any user-defined events?
You can define your own event.
We can extend an existing. Do you have a new type for user events?
Sorry?
Do you have a new event user type? Or we can only extend the existing one?
You can create your own event.
Okay.
Maybe let's take it offline after.
I think the question is, should we extend an existing thing with this existing type, or we can introduce new type for user events? I mean, even type, can we introduce new types?
Yes.
So there's support for custom events?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear you.
So, for example, I do the tree view control, and the tree view has custom tree item events for when things are happening relevant for what I need to know, what I think people using tree view need to know. So you certainly create your own events part of it.
And they bubble up and go
Sure.
down.
Yes, this is it's the same. Okay, so no, I don't know. Oh, I didn't notice any time anything like that. Okay, so
You have to register. You notify all the events involved. To create an event.
I will explain it later.
Oh, okay.
I will talk about event handling now. So to handle an event, you have three options. You can either use convenience method, like here the example is set on key pressed, which are defined on a node or on other JavaFX objects. And you can add event handler, where you specify the event type and then your event handler, and there is similar method add event filter. Or you can change the event dispatcher for a node. This is actually kind of out of scope of this presentation, but you can totally rewrite how the event travels through the scene graph. But I believe that 99.9% of the time you wouldn't want to do it because this will be sufficient, these first two options. So this convenience method, actually there are some properties defined on the node, like on mouse pressed, on key type, which have getters and setters, and through their setter you can set the event handler for this property. They have some limitations. They can be used only for handlers, not for filters, and you can add only one event handler by these convenience methods. And also they don't exist for all the event types, but only for the event types we consider to be the most important ones. Okay, I have example here. I have here the declaration of on mouse clicked and on key pressed methods. You will see that they take event handler for their respective types of events. and you can actually put their event handler for any, like for mouse clicked, you can put their event handler for mouse event or any superclass like input event or just event. So here's example how we will use it. Just simply you create new event handler and then you handle the method. So what you can also do is you can use one event handler for more of these event types. So I have here event handler which takes input event, and then I can use it for both mouse pressed or key pressed events. Okay, so
Yeah, my question about delivery sequence. So does JavaFX guarantee that delivery is the same as in the same sequence as events appear? Like I type in keyboard, clicking mouse and doing anything. So does JavaFX guarantee that all the sequences will be the same sequence they appear in this world?
well, I think it's implemented in a way when we get it from the system, we like it travels to the scene graph, but I don't know the underlying stuff. I know like the top layer, so I can't tell you whether it's really true always. That's one. Okay, let me continue with this. You can also add your event handlers or filters with add event handler event filter method. You can actually register more event handlers for one event type, or you can register one event handler for whole class of events, like you can register event handler for all input events and so on. And when you have this kind of when you do this kind of stuff and you have several event handlers on a node, then first the event handlers for the most specific event types are called, and then for the generic ones. And for the event handlers on the same level, it's not specified, the order. But what is specified is that those set on key pressed handlers are always executed last. Okay, so here's the declaration of the add event handler method. You see that it's generic, so what it ensures that you actually cannot use incorrect type of event handler. So you can add event handler for mouse clicked. You can add event handler which takes mouse event, or you can add event handler which takes input event, but you cannot add event handler which takes key event because this wouldn't compile. And I have also here some coding practices. This
I'm sorry, can you go back to the last slide just a second? Hey. Sorry.
Okay, so this is actually something what I saw from some user of JavaFX, he was trying to do this. Like add event handler for all mouse events, and then check in the handler method what kind of event type you get, and he had this huge if else where he did some stuff, so please don't do this. But what you should do is have several event handlers and set them for specific event types.
Yeah, but the second approach, so what if I want to hold some kind of system state in the class? So if I use first approach, I would hold system state with this handler. Right now we have several handlers, right?
Yes.
And the second approach doesn't allow me to remember which previously,
I would need to think about this. So
previously I had one handler and I can also which case was present and which case
yeah.
which state, right? And my introduce all these variables inside the handler.
Yeah.
Once I have one handler for all units, it's more simpler to.
Okay, let's take it offline. I will need to think about what you want to.
The last handler,
Yeah.
since it's using not so many, do you not need to do the three above it? Am I missing something obvious?
Oh, you are doing something else there. This is for when you want to do something.
Yeah, but the last one will also catch, does mouse event anything that will also catch a mouse drag or a mouse?
Yes, yes, it means. So this was in the on this slide too.
Yeah, I know, but if I
No,
know that just.
all of these handlers are executed for if you press a mouse,
Yes.
then both this set on mouse pressed is executed and this.
And the add event at the bottom.
Yeah, the bottom one is executed too.
Is the order determined? Is it
Yeah,
always
yeah.
mouse press first or no?
I talked about this.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You're guaranteeing then that the handlers are called in the order in which they're added?
No. The most specific are called first, and then
Right, but okay, but I have two that handle
it's
mouse press, so then what happens? Is that,
it's not specified.
so it's not?
It's not.
so
It's arbitrary.
it's not deterministic?
Well, I don't. I would have to look at the code, but it's not
Are you using
guaranteed.
a set or a list under that? What are you using?
Yeah, I would have to look at the code how that's used. Okay, so.
How do you is notification safe? Can I remove listeners while in the notification process?
Sorry.
Can I remove listeners from the notification process while the notification process is happening? No. Like in Swing, if a mouse listener is called, for instance, I can remove that mouse listener from the list after I do whatever it does. So I like only the first time this thing is clicked, if I want to handle this, then I'm going to remove the mouse listener. Because event listener list ensures that the listeners will, you can perform changes to the listeners, but the state in which they were initially called is preserved for the entire time of that notification process. Do you understand the question?
I think I do.
All right, because people who implement Swing poorly and implement custom listeners do list my listener equals new array list, and then they get concurrent modification exceptions because they're constantly removing listeners from that list. So what happens if my event handler removes itself from the source or target or whatever it is, while it's as the last step in processing itself? What happens? Do I get a concurrent modification event?
Well,
How do I have to do that? What happens if I remove something after? Does that thing still get notified because the list was taken at that?
Wow.
But no, because the event listener list is Swing, takes a snapshot underneath it's an array.
So
And they write out a copy of that and you iterate that copy.
So if you remove something at the end of the list, it's going to get called anyway.
It's going to get called anyway. It gets called the
And if you
moment
remove something, it's going to issue
it took a snapshot. Once that processing begins, you can do anything to the underlying listener list because you're affecting something that you're not dealing with because a snapshot was taken and that notification happened. So I'm one node.
Yeah, I think I understand what you want to ask, but well, I don't know.
Wouldn't you just use
I
an
will.
event filter in that region? The filter's called, and choose the events.
Okay.
But I didn't know what kind of process was on. Well, that, I guess it was.
Yeah, okay. So, and I'd like to talk to you about when to use handler and when to use filter. So, you actually, on a leaf node, you will always want to use handler, mostly. But on a branch node, it depends on what you want to achieve. If you want to provide some default response, you add handler there, and if you want to prevent the event from reaching the child, you put a filter there. Like I have an example, a really simple example here. UI, I press submit, and I want the UI to stop responding. So what I did here is that I created simple event filter, like event handler, which I will use as a filter, which only the only thing it does is that it consumes the event, and then when I press the button, I blur the UI, I make the progress indicator visible, and then I add this event filter.
Another hard question is, you've got two event handlers at the same level, and one of them calls consume, the other one always gets the call, or is it not determined?
I think it will not get the call.
But we don't know what we're making the call because that's undefined.
Exactly, and that's an issue.
Yes.
I don't care if it's not deterministic too. You can't guarantee them both.
Not
Or get it,
yeah.
things are
Okay, so keys, key presses, and so on. So key events are always delivered to the node which has focus, and how do you make a node focus to be focused? You call request focus on it, and you need to set focus traversable to true, and then the events, key events behave like all the events, they bubble and so on. Most events, they are a little bit.
I'm sorry to interrupt. That last slide you just finished up.
Oh, there's nothing like really hard there.
Oh, okay. I'll ask you.
Because
Is there a way to know what the focus owner is? Like keyboard focus manager in Swing, I get the global focus owner, the permanent focus owner, and the current one if they're different, because it could be a temporary focus owner. So is there a way to find out what the focus owner is and just like run a bit of code? Like, do I need, is there some way to figure out what that is?
you are making it hard for me.
I'm sorry.
Let's take all this offline, please,
Okay.
because I think I will not be able to finish this. Mouse events. So mouse events are delivered to a node which is picked. So they also travel through the scene graph, as I told you before, and the important stuff here is how I tell which node will be picked. So it's the first node which is under cursor, which is not mouse transparent. Mouse transparent is a property which is controlled by you as a programmer. And what you can also change is the pick on bounce property, which controls whether geometric shape of the node will be used for picking, or the bounds of the node will be used for picking. What this means is when you have an image which is transparent, for example, then when the pick on bounds is false and you click on the transparent pixels, you will not get an event. But when you change pick on bounds to true, then you will. The mouse event is then sent to the pick node. It travels through the scene graph again. But what you should not know is that JavaFX UI controls are implemented in a way that they consume mouse events. So if you use them, it will seem that they do not bubble, but they actually do for standard nodes. I have here an example of one decision we had to make when we implemented mouse events. So this is about mouse moved and mouse entered and mouse exited event handlers. So here I have implementation of a simple scene where I change color when the mouse enters the scene and enters the circle, triangle, and changes the color back when I leave the triangle. So if the event bubbled in the same way as all the others do, I would get a mouse entered when I enter the rectangle and mouse entered again when I enter the triangle, and now I would get mouse exited when I leave the triangle, but also the parent node, which is here the rectangle, would get, or pane, would get a mouse exited. So, and what we want to do is this. So how we did it. This is just summary of what we wanted to achieve. So what we actually did is that we have still one event, but we change the event type during delivery. So we added another event type. It's called mouse entered target or mouse exited target, and it's this one. The event has this type for all handlers or filters which are on the rest of the nodes except for the target node. So here is simple animation of this. So still the event type is mouse entered target, and when it reaches the real target, it changes into mouse entered, and when it goes up, it changes again to mouse entered target. And mouse entered is actually a subclass of mouse entered target. So this means that when you register an event handler for mouse entered target, it will still get called for these mouse entered events. So when you register event handler only for mouse entered, you will get it only for the leaf nodes, only for the nodes on which you registered it. This is basically what you wanted to achieve most of the time. Then I have here something about drag and drop. So JavaFX supports three kinds of drag and drop. First, the simple one. It starts automatically when you start dragging on an object, and then all subsequent mouse events are delivered to this object. And you can use this when you want to move the object around the scene or scale it, and so on. Then there is something we call full press drag release gesture. You start it when you call start full drag in drag detected event handler, and this one you will use when you want to manipulate more nodes in the scene graph by dragging. And then there is a platform supported drag and drop, and this is again activated by calling start drag and drop. I have another example here to show this. I created this simple connect the dots demo where when I press Ctrl I can move the image around and then I can connect the dots like this, and I can also move the picture to some other program like here I have Word, so here it is. So how it is done. So this case, it's very simple. I only implement the handler for mouse direct event type, and I change the translate X and translate epsilon. Then the second one, the radio connecting the dots. So first in drag detected I make the line brown. I also change the stroke width, and here is the important one, is start full drag. This is when I tell the system that I want to use this full press drag release gesture. Okay, when I am dragging the mouse, I am changing the coordinates, the end point of the line, and when I enter some other circle with the line, I change the color, and when I leave it, I change the color back again to black. And the last thing is when I release the mouse inside the circle, I change the color of the line to black, and I change the stroke weight. And the platform supported drag and drop, here I just call start drag and drop. I get drag board from this method, and I create snapshot of the image and put it there, and that's all you need to do for this drag and drop to work. I actually don't have the another option like dragging some picture from another application to this. I don't have this implemented, only this case. Okay, and a little bit about Multitouch. So Multitouch is new in JavaFX since 2.2. We added support for both gestures and for single touch events, and all of the events from the one gesture are delivered to the node which was selected at the beginning. And we also have support for inertia, but this is platform dependent. Okay, so touch events. Touch events, we will get event every time you touch a screen. If you touch the screen with more fingers, you will get touch event for every touch, but you can also get a list of touch points for other events. Also, every touch event also generates mouse events, so if you already have some application which handles mouse events, it will work on also on touch enabled devices, but you need to make sure that you don't handle it twice, and you do this by checking what is synthesized returns.
How do I post my custom or my own synthesized mouse events to the event queue? How do you actually post?
I don't think you can create mouse event right now yourself, because they don't have constructors.
Okay, all right.
But I think it's planned, but you cannot do it right now.
All right. How would I post my
you call fire on the event. Okay, so and then I will just tell you what kind of gestures we support. So there are 4 of them. Rotate, this is this standard gesture with 2 or more fingers, and you can from the event you can get an angle. It's the angle of one event or the total angle of the whole gesture, and the target of this event is the topmost node at the center of all touches. This means when you do the gesture with more fingers, it selects the one in the center. This is actually true for all other gestures except for swipe. Okay, then there's zoom, used for zooming. You will get zoom factor from it. And then scroll. Scroll is kind of special because if you do it on a touch enabled device, you will get scroll started, then several scroll events, and then scroll finished. It's actually the same with rotate and zoom, this one. But you will also get scroll events when you use the wheel on your mouse. But scroll events only, no scroll started and scroll finished. And you will get like the amount of what line or what amount of pixels you need to change from the scroll event. And the last one is swipe event. Swipe event is different from swipe gesture is different from all the other gestures in that it only generates one event for the whole gesture, and there are 4 events for 4 different directions, and also during the swipe events, swipe gesture also generates scroll events. But what is important here is that the scroll events may have different target, because the target for the swipe event is the object which is at the center of the whole gesture, while the target for the scroll events is the one which is selected at the beginning. And also, if you want to know more about Multitouch, a coworker of mine has both here in an hour, where he will present this whole stuff in more detail. So I suggest you go there. So I think that's basically all of it. And I actually think that we don't have much time for questions now, because you already asked a lot of them during the presentation, so we can take it offline and ask outside. So thank you for coming here.